All right, guys. Midweek outlook. We'll start with the bond market. We'll look at the yield. We'll move the DXY, and then we'll get into a few of these assets here. So obviously, looking at the bond, right? We're in a downward market, and up close candles are supporting price. This is obviously going to be the current dealing range that we're in. We kind of have a breaker here, up close candle supporting price, as mentioned, and then um, we see price going, external range, internal, or stops inefficiency, so on and so forth, right? So naturally, we'd expect within this range right here, we'd expect price to push up internal range, right, to a PDA rate, right, and then also once we have that smart money reversal, we want to see a strong draw on an external range liquidity pool, which would be down at the we'll just call it 10800. All right. Now, once we go inside of here, I'll be the first to say it is a bit messy. We do have NFP this week, so I don't want to make any hard calls on price just yet. What I would have liked to see is for price to just continue a more consistent run lower. All right, and at this rate, I'm not really sure what this is about. Okay, this is what is making it a bit messy for me. And so I'd rather allow NFP to come out and see if we can get a true volatility injection in the right direction. What I do like here is even though we begin to push up, we run higher, we take out stops from here, right? And then that gives us an expansion lower, right? We clear out this last phase of reaccumulation. So if we were looking at this as a market maker sale program, right? This would be that last phase reaccumulation that we've cleared. And what I also like is we have this volume balance. Now, what I don't want to see is the bond market end up closing above this volume balance or having a strong closure above it. I'd much rather see rejections from this level um, to send us back lower, which would continue to support dollar strength. All right. Looking at the yield coming back out to a monthly chart, it's going to have the same perspective just from an inverse buy side of the curve, down close candle support and price. We're seeing external, internal, external, right back to internal. Naturally speaking, we want to see price run and attack an external range liquidity pool. So we've traded lower. We've reacted to this monthly down close candle. Looking at a weekly chart, if I be honest here, the weekly down close candles are supporting price. So weekly and monthly are in alignment. Okay. And then if I push to a daily, we'll also see that daily down close candles are now supporting price as well. So just like we saw on the bond market, we create a short term low, we run out those sell stops, and then price starts to push up higher. Now, what I want to see is I want to see this down close candle act as support for price. All right. I don't want to see price run through this down close candle. I want to see us push up, take out this level, and then ultimately push to that 5% point because this is that external range, internal. We should run back toward external, right? Supporting dollar strength. Okay, but as mentioned, I'd much rather allow NFP to come out. Let's see where that volatility injection takes us, and then we'll make further decisions from there. All right. Um, that will flow into DXY. So looking at DXY, you guys can see here weekly chart down close candle support and price. All right, and we've since traded and we've closed above this weekly down close candle, which I like. All right, and then we have this weekly buy side inefficiency. All right, so on the daily chart, right, on the daily chart, we've since run through daily down close candles, but in no form or fashion can we say daily up close candles are supporting price because we have yet to see price push into a daily up close candle and actually respond. All right, the only thing that has happened is we've cleared out this order flow, but only for the sake of trading into a higher time frame point of reference. Okay, so this doesn't really scare me. As you guys know, we've been calling out this level here, 106,500 or 106,400 for DXY. There's a equal highs here. We're seeing this whole thing as a market maker buy program, right? The buy side of the curve. Okay. So just as mentioned, right, I'm waiting on NFP before I get engaged anymore with anything to do with the dollar. All right. Let's move to pound USD. Okay. And this is where I'm saying we're kind of out of sync, right? Because pound USD gives us from just looking at this image, it gives us the idea that hey, we're probably going to continue running higher and attack these equal highs. So I'd say these guys are very out of sync. There's not a lot to really derive from price action at this point, other than just let's just allow NFP to come out. All right, we do push down to fair valuation. We can see a swing low fractal here. All right, we take out, you know, I don't know why this is happening. Oh, that's the daily chart. But anyways, we take out previous week's low. All right, and then price trades higher, closing above this down close candle, which should make this an order block. All right, from a daily perspective. Um, and we have fair valuation here. So there's potential that price could run down into this area and give some type of reaction. But I personally, I don't like that there is not a lot of synchronicity in terms of pound USD, the yield, and then also the dollar. All right, Euro USD opens up the week with a volume imbalance. All right, we've had strong rejections from that area, which should support price, but we're literally resting right here with a weekly volume imbalance, right? Very strong weekly volume imbalance, which throws another spin into this whole thing. So we have inversion fair value gap here, weekly volume imbalance here. All right. Once again, don't want to spend a lot of time on this. Let's allow NFP to come out, and then we'll have much more clarity as it relates to those few assets. Um, Obviously, as I always mention, when it comes to Nasdaq, the best thing we can do, and then also S&P 500, because we're in uncharted territory, right? We've never been here before. The best thing that we could do, guys, is be prepared for all of our runs into discount. Right? We gotta continue to be buyers. We're not picking tops, right? This thing could continue to run higher. Right? Let's just be prepared within these areas here. So at this point, um, and ultimately, what I'm trying to say is our best points of engagement are going to be when prices at these internal range liquidity pools, right? Or these internal range runs, right? Right now, we're going stops and efficiency, stops and efficiency. We've just taken out stops. I say let's allow price to come back down into some form of a daily imbalance, right? Supported by down close candles, and then we can respond from there. All right, but there are no we don't have the ability to call out a target because obviously once again we're in uncharted territory. S&P 500 is going to have the same idea. All right, uncharted territory. Uh, we have daily down close candles in here. And one thing I forgot to mention is that there is SMT. If you take into consideration this weekly low fair value gap combination compared to 2 weeks ago here. All right. So SMT followed by an expansion, followed by some type of institutional sponsorship makes me believe we'll continue to see price run higher. Dollar Swiss, right? Buy side of the curve. So this reminds me of the DXY. We do have relatively equal highs above market price. Okay. And then we react to this down close candle. So we're recalling these levels and we're saying, at some point, right, we wanted to see if price was going to clear out this last phase of redistribution. So from a higher time frame perspective, right, we're pro bullish here. We want to see higher prices, right, and we're resting right on top of daily down close candle. Down close candles are support price. All right, now what could happen is depending on NFP, we could have a weekly fair value gap. We could not, right? But obviously, this is attached to the dollar, so there's not a lot of clarity here because we want to wait until NFP comes out. Looking at oil, um, I think oil this is an easy win or easy runner right into these equal highs. If this happens to hold, maybe into a London session or something of that sort, if it runs into the discounted portions of this range, obviously this is a daily range at this point, but if we run into discounted portions of this range, I believe these fair value gaps or even fair valuation right here should hold, giving us the easy run to 84428. Copper is another asset that we have been sort of waiting on. Looking at a weekly chart, so we've come and we've run into this weekly fair value gap. I want to say this is also a monthly level. From a monthly perspective, price has been attacking previous month's highs. Okay, we've gone here, stops, run back down to an inefficiency, and our mental framework is that we want to see price run back towards buy side liquidity pools. Right. So looking at a weekly chart, I'd love to see price close above this down close candle, but ultimately close above both of those down close candles, creating a bullish order block, and then also clearing out this last phase distribution. From there, we got a pretty, a decent amount of time to step in here and make decisions about, you know, seeing price run to its ultimate terminus. Gold is the asset that I'm not too fond of right now because we're in a bit of a consolidation. Initially, we thought that we would see this monthly candle run down into this monthly fair value gap, and there's still the possibility of that. We don't know what NFP is going to do, but right now, I'd say there's not a lot of clarity in this. Right, we're just back and forth. All right, we take out buy stops, sell stops. All right, and it's just now we've basically traded inside of this 1 week. Right, the first week of June, every week thereafter has traded inside of the first week of June's range. Right, so there's not a lot to derive from here. Um, yeah, that's all, guys. So I know there's not a lot of ideas so far. I guess at this rate, but let's just remember this is an FP week, so we'll just sit on our hands and we'll wait until things become super obvious.